What do you do to prepare yourself emotionally, physically, any way, to report objectively in a neutral way from a site like that, or from witnessing genocide, or from a war zone? What do you do personally?
Well, preparation is really about being knowledgeable, harnessing and crystallizing your ideas about the stories that you want to come out with. Oftentimes, you're going in not knowing what the story will be. Sometimes if you've pre-produced it or you've found the person you're going to interview, you've got to go in looking for that story. So there's a lot of pressure because you have deadlines to meet. So you really need, so for me, preparation was always about picking the right team, picking the right time, picking the right place, and being disciplined and as rested as possible and focused on the way in. The biggest problem for me was coming out. And I think it's generally true for anyone who goes into these kinds of stories. I think it's true for journalists, whether they admit it or not, if they do these kinds of stories, certainly for humanitarian workers, certainly for anyone who is involved in rescue. It's the dealing with what you just saw and how it compares to the luckiness of your own life that's hard to handle. And so I always tell people that you need to be incredibly thoughtful when you come out to take care of yourself physically, mentally, and emotionally, whatever it takes. So, because there almost always for me is I wouldn't call it depression, but a down time of processing. I remember walking into my apartment, and my kids had posted on the door of our apartment pictures of me that they had drawn of me when they were little kids. "Mom, saving the world," you know, they would write, and things like that. "Welcome home, Mom, yay," and that kind of stuff. And you open the door and you realize how lucky these children are. You know, you walk in, Mac, my daughter, Mom, we're going to the zoo, you want to go? And you're thinking, my God, you know, you just left a place where a child has his eyes swollen shut with conjunctivitis because nobody knows what to do about conjunctivitis there. Who is homeless, living under a tree because his house was attacked, his village was attacked by the Janjaweed in Sudan, and he doesn't know where he's going to eat, and his mother's traumatized. And your daughter is saying, "Can we go to the zoo?" And that transition is very hard sometimes. You just feel incredibly lucky and guilty, really, too.
Are there anything, do you have any rituals that you do when you come home to sort of shed what you've just witnessed?
Well, oftentimes when I was working on the Today Show, I didn't have time. I just had to go back on television really quickly. But I would just simply say that, you know, you just have to be disciplined enough to take care of yourself physically, working out, exercising. Emotionally, if you need therapy, go get it. If you need to talk to somebody, talk to somebody. Oftentimes what I would do is talk to fellow people who also do foreign correspondent work, because whether they work in newspapers or photojournalists, because they understand it. You can actually talk to them and they're not impressed with you. They're very realistic about, because they also have the similar experiences, and so you can share those stories and feel, I think, less alone. And then I think mentally, you know, did I do the right story? Did I ask the right questions? Did I squander that time? Should I fight for that story again? So that was my ritual, is having the discipline not to stay in bed, but to get up and because every story you approach deserves that same level of acuity, compassion, and stamina. And so you have to address each one with that. And if you allow yourself to become jaded or traumatized or weak, and you're unable to approach each one, then you're not giving the people who've been waiting to be heard their due.
Right.
So I think it's just about, again, being good enough, being worthy enough, you know, being in fighting shape to do it right.